Nation's report card shows America's high school seniors have the worst math and reading scores in more than 2 decades. And the first data since 2019 also shows 8th graders falling further behind in science.
So teaching has become a dying profession. I, for one, have 24 years of experience, and I am leaving. I plan to stay for another, 10 years, not doing anymore.
A lot of these kids don't know how to read because they have had things read to them, or they can click a button and have something read out loud to them.
America has a problem, and it's that these kids can't read. Like young Gen Z and these Gen Alpha babies, yeah, they can't read. They cannot read.
We've all heard that teachers in this country are overworked and underpaid, and because of this, teachers are leaving the profession at alarming rates. According to the Learning Policy Institute fact sheet, 48 states plus DC employed about 350,000 teachers who are not fully certified for their teaching assignments. 31 states plus DC published data on vacancies and showed about 45,000 unfilled teacher positions. So together, these estimates indicate that at a minimum, about 400,000 positions were either unfilled or filled by teachers not fully certified for their assignments, representing about 1 in 8 of all teaching positions nationally. And according to this fact sheet, teacher shortages stem from 2 main factors, which are fewer people entering the profession and high rates of teachers leaving. Honing in on teacher attrition comprises about 90% of annual teacher demand and drives many of the shortages we see today. Less than 1/5 of teachers leaving their profession are retiring. Other leavers cite reasons like pursuing other careers, needing a higher salary, and dissatisfaction with teaching or their specific position. We're going to dive into some clips right now. We're going to see the experience that teachers have had in the classroom and how they feel it doesn't align to the experience they were hoping to get back when they dreamed of becoming a teacher.
Former English teacher going viral after posting a raw and unfiltered farewell video as she leaves the classroom behind after just 3 years. Listen.
A lot of these kids don't know how to read because they have had things read to them, or they can click a button and have something read out loud to them. I just don't think these kids even care. They don't care about making a difference in the world. They don't care about how to have a resume. They don't care how to write a resume. They don't care how to write a cover letter because ChatGPT will just do it for them. And I think that we need to cut off technology from these kids, probably until they go to college.
Hannah is a former teacher, and she joins us now. She posted that video. More than 1 million people have seen it, Hannah, probably more by the time we're on this morning. Why did you post that video?
So I taught for 3 years, as I said in my video. I wasn't always a teacher. I actually started my career in digital marketing. So I've been in the digital world for about 5 years now, or since I've graduated. And throughout the 3 years, I've taught digital arts classes and I've taught an English class. And I would say that in all of my teaching experience, technology has posed quite a challenge. And with AI becoming so accessible to children nowadays, especially teaching in an English or Core 4 classroom, it's been especially challenging kind of to have the kids comprehend and critical think and think for themselves on certain things.
Yeah.
So on my way out, I wanted to kind of raise awareness and just let people know how AI and technology is affecting their children these days.
Right. I know, coming from a mother who taught for 33 years, my sister's a teacher in South Carolina, the challenges that y'all deal with. This is even before AI was a thing. I'm sure it's even more challenging now. And clearly, your opinion is, yes, it is. You're a high school teacher. I'm sure your students loved you. We hate to see someone leave education because of problems within the classroom. Give me some examples of what the students are saying to you.
Well, a lot of students, and I do want to be clear, I taught a lot of very motivated and bright children. And so I don't want this to come off as if this is all the kids' fault. Mm-hmm. But I do know that a lot of times in my English classroom, I would ask them to write down a short response or just 5 sentences to answer a question. And a lot of times it would be about 2.5 sentences and they would say, well, I can't think of anything else to say, or, well, why do I have to answer in complete sentences? Like, you get the point from what I'm saying in just this little sentence. And then a lot of times I would assign essays, long form essays, and I know how children write, especially when they handwrite me things in the beginning of the school year. And so when a student, how I know how they write typically would give me a very eloquently and thorough essay on a topic that I know that normally wouldn't come from them, I would ask them, was this really you? And I'd run it through an AI generator. And of course, it would say 100% ChatGPT or AI. And I would speak to the student and they would more so question of, well, if I have to redo this, how much is it really going to affect my grade? Can I just take the zero?
Oh my gosh, trying to take the easy way out. Yeah.
Right.
Is it promoting just a laziness among our children?
I suppose, and a lot of them are just feeling as though they don't really need to do the work anymore because AI will just do it for them.
Right.
And I think that AI can be in a classroom in a very effective way if we teach children in the older grades how to use it properly. But if we're allowing them this unlimited access in the classroom to use AI, they're not going to do the work themselves.
Yeah, I know you're a proponent of getting technology out of our classrooms, getting the phones out of our classrooms. I still can't believe some schools are allowing that.
Someone commented, technology has been a huge downfall for humanity. There will be zero critical thinking skills in about 30 years because of technology. It's frightening. Parenting starts at home. Kids don't need laptops in school. That's another thing. I was absolutely floored when I heard schools are giving out iPads and Chromebooks to students, and I'm assuming this is in place of the traditional notebooks and textbooks, but it's very sad. Something is being lost in this, and I think there is a way to integrate technology into the classroom somehow, but I don't think the answer to that is giving every student a Chromebook or an iPad. That's terrible. Please, paper books only, paper tests only. No more digital devices in classrooms. Absolutely none. That is what we need to do. Keep computer labs open in libraries only. We need to teach children that devices are computers that are meant to be utilized as research tools like they originally were.
I have to speak to, as a teacher of 24 years, this being my last year, I'm retiring. I'm done. And I'm done because of one word: parents. And I am going to speak for teachers who can't speak because they're still in the profession. Education has changed so much that it is unbearable. And that's why there's a teacher shortage. I have seen education change in 24 years, and it hasn't changed for the better. And a lot of it has to do with parenting or lack thereof. Parents, when you send your child to school, they need pens, they need pencils. If they don't have them, please ask me or ask the school. Parents, when you send your children to school, yes, they do need their books. Yes, they do need a notebook. If they do not have any of those things, please ask your teacher or please ask the school. Bottom line is this: teachers are not just teachers. The amount of time that I spend teaching is, let's see, if I'm lucky, maybe 20 minutes within a class period. There's so much other stuff going on every minute, every second of the class period. It starts off as soon as the kids come in the room. There's always self-regulation that I have to do. There's always redirection that I have to do. There's always repeating the same information, even though it's written on the overhead, even though it's clearly spelled as clear as it can be in the written language. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And even after I ask for clarifying questions, which I don't get any, there are kids who are constantly coming in late, which disrupts the classroom. The phone is ringing because a child needs to go to see the counselor because they are dealing with whatever issues. I get that, and I understand it happens. There are interruptions because a child is leaving because the parents are taking the child out of school to go somewhere. There are interruptions in the day because I have to fill out an independent contract for a child who's going away for a month to Italy or to India. So that means I have to make special lesson plans for that child, which they don't do, by the way. There are interruptions when you have the counselors coming into the classroom and asking to take out a certain student. There are interruptions in the classroom because there are so many students with special needs, and again, I am not faulting them for that. All I'm telling you is that a lot of extra energy goes into students who have special needs. And I'm the only person in the room. There isn't a teacher's aide. There isn't another special ed person in here with me. And I have 33 to 34 students. The interruptions are insurmountable. So trying to teach is virtually impossible. We as teachers have become babysitters. And all we do is we're putting out fires every 2 to 3 minutes. And that's not an over-exaggeration. That is the truth. So, that and many other reasons, I'm retiring after 24 years. I have had it. I can no longer deal with the new type of parent and the new type of child that is a product of the parent that I am trying to teach. Many of these kids do not care. And they don't care because their parents don't care. And if their parents care, then I guess I would see kids that care. But I don't. So teaching has become a dying profession. I, for one, have 24 years of experience, and I am leaving. I plan to stay for another, 10 years. Not doing it anymore. Nope. So another experienced teacher bites the dust.
Someone commented, 27-year teacher here. Constant interruptions are ridiculous. Also, their phones. So true. Teachers ask students to get off their phones and take out their headphones, and they refuse. The level of disrespect is insane. This is so mind-blowing to me. Back when I was in school, we did not dare to disrespect the teacher, catch an attitude, start acting out. That was just unheard of. Because we knew if we did that, there would be consequences. But it sounds like there are no consequences for children anymore, so they just learn that they can get away with their bad behavior.
I'm a high school teacher. It is 4 weeks into the school year with students, and I am at my limit already. I am at my limit with being talked to and demanded at so disrespectfully, interrupted constantly, repeating myself countless times. This year feels worse. This year feels worse than the last 5 years I've taught. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but I feel like I've seen so many teachers make videos where we are all ringing the alarm saying, this is bad. This year is not good. It's not good. We are struggling, and not a lot of us are going to last if this continues, because I think there's a reckoning of teachers realizing like, I actually don't deserve to be treated like and then every day wipe that slate clean and start on over as if it didn't happen. I teach high schoolers. I see it from videos of elementary school teachers and middle school teachers. I don't know when, as a society, we're going to wake up and say, our system is failing. Our students don't have basic respect or human decency. Teachers are done. Obviously, disclaimer, not all teachers, not all parents, not all students, not all schools. But I'm seeing way too many videos of teachers saying, I can't do this anymore. And we need to be taking that seriously.
Someone commented, people want babies. They don't want to actually raise a human. I feel so bad for my kids. They are rule followers. My daughter cried because she can't even hear or learn. She's in 2nd grade. That absolutely breaks my heart. I really feel for the kids and the parents of the students who really care about school and actually want to learn something. But the constant disruptions from the students who don't care and who disrespect the teacher is making it so they can't learn. And that can't be a safe or healthy environment for anyone. When I was a kid, if I got a bad grade, I got yelled at by my parents. Today, when the kid gets a bad grade, the parents want to yell at the teacher. That's pretty much what's going on right now, I think. I did 4 combat tours as an infantry marine, and being a teacher is worse. Gentle parenting, being mistaken for not parenting, will ruin a whole generation of people. This is my 24th year, and it is by far the worst of my career. If I were not 5 years from retirement, I would be out the door. Another thing I came across a lot as I was researching for this video is this idea that kids can't read now. And when I first heard this, there is definitely that shock factor, right? Like, what do you mean kids can't read nowadays? But I was coming across video after video after video of educators, as well as just people who come into contact with kids on a daily basis, sharing that kids really can't read. And we also have data to back this up, which I will get to shortly, but here are the clips.
Can confirm, as someone who just started substitute teaching, these kids cannot read. My first substitute assignment, I subbed in for a middle school English teacher. She left a packet of work for her students to complete in her absence. She left instructions for me to follow, and I looked over the packet. I'm thinking, oh, this is pretty standard stuff. It was like grammar practice with commas. And then they had to do like a crossword puzzle with some vocab words, use the vocab words in a sentence. Like, I'm like, okay, this is basically your standard middle school busy work. I'm like, they'll knock this out. And then I figured they would be chill. Boy, was I wrong. The first thing that really shocked me was the fact that I had to tell so many students to write their name on their paper. And then when they did, they would only write their first name. No last name, no date, no period they were in, none of that. I'm like, why do I have to tell y'all to write your full name? And then the penmanship, my God. I was like, I'm thinking to myself, y'all are what, 7th grade? Why are y'all writing like some of them wrote like a 2nd or 1st grader. Like, in terms of the penmanship, the quality, I'm like, looks like chicken scratch. And so the writing, because reading and writing are, let's be clear, the two go together. So that should have been my first clue, honestly. But that is what kind of shocked me first. Then when it came to time for them to actually do the packets, the kids did not want to read the instructions. They would literally take the packet and be like, raise their hand, I don't know what to do. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know what to do? The first thing I asked them, did you read the instructions? They'd be like, oh, no. And I was like, read the instructions and then see if you still have questions. And then come to find out, a lot of these kids, like, they're not comfortable reading. By day 2 of my second assignment, it had become abundantly clear to me. America has a problem, and it's that these kids can't read. Like, young Gen Z and these Gen Alpha babies, yeah, they can't read. They cannot read. And, like, another thing that shocked me was how low their vocabulary was. And, like, their word recognition, they did not know how to recognize or pronounce certain words. I had some student ask me how to pronounce the word abbreviation and then ask me what that meant. One girl didn't know what segregated meant. So I was just like, y'all are like 12 or 13 that don't know what segregated means, don't know what an abbreviation is. I was just really, really shocked that these kids... my theory is COVID. I blame COVID and George Bush, because that motherfucker left a lot of kids behind. And COVID, I thought there was a gap with everyone having to be remote, but it was just crazy to actually see in real time, like, yeah, these kids can't read.
Someone commented, so there's no more pizza parties for reading, scholastic book fairs, library time, summer reading? I'm old and confused. We need to bring back reading and essay contests. My 8th graders can't even write a full paragraph. It's so alarming. I was writing 5-paragraph persuasive essays in 8th grade. What is going on?
Everybody wants to bash on Gen Z, but did you guys know that Gen Alpha can't read? I was talking to one of our church kids, and he like very boldly told me, yeah, I don't know how to read, and neither does anybody in my class. Mind you, this kid is starting 5th grade in August, okay? And I thought he was playing, so I told him, you know, kids will do anything for money. So I was like, I'll give you $10 if you could tell me what this bag says. It said chips in giant letters. And I said, you could sound it out, you could try spelling it or whatever to help you read it. Because I thought he was lying. So this dude goes, CHIPS. And I go, what does that say? And he goes, potatoes. Y'all, we're cooked. as a society.
And they want to keep banning books. In 5th grade, we were on high school and college reading levels. That was me in my class. I remember our teachers, our parents, everyone around us applauding us for reading above reading level. And granted, I was in the GATE program, which is like gifted and talented education, and I think you have to take like a test before you get in there. So I was already in a class of overachievers, but still, almost my entire class was reading above grade level. So to hear that a lot of students are levels and levels below where they need to be is very scary. Someone else said, many places have stopped teaching phonics, and that is the problem. I couldn't find a definite answer on this. I did hear that some places started teaching sight words instead of teaching phonics, which obviously has been a huge mistake. And then other people are saying that phonics is still being taught. So I'm not really sure. If you guys can comment down below if any of you have kids that are in school, are they teaching phonics? It's really concerning if they're not being taught phonics. It's so important. And if I had a kid in school, I feel like I would just teach them myself.
Take the phones away from the kids. They can't retain nothing. I could say, make sure you color each image. And immediately someone will say, do we have to color the image? Ah! Y'all got to take them phones away from them kids. I had a child do a move that I know she learned from Chris Brown. And you know that means it was a freaky deaky move. This is a 4th grader. Read books. I got multiple 3rd graders who couldn't read the directions to this worksheet. The directions read, color each image. Write an F for fruit and a V for vegetables. They couldn't read it. Miss Austin, can you help me? I said, help you what? Read the directions. I said, you can't read? They said, no. I said, why not? They said, I don't know. I said, do you practice at home? They said, a little bit. Read them kids a goddamn book. Not only do you need to take the phones away from the kids, you got to feed them kids vegetables. You got to show them real whole foods. They come in with Takis every day, mouth and fingers blue. But they don't know the color of a raspberry. I had a girl ask me if corn was a fruit. We watched a whole lesson on fruit. Told me she ain't never seen a potato before. Y'all gotta take them phones away from them kids.
Someone commented, social media needs to be 18 and up, and I'll die on that hill. I'm a high school teacher. When does the bell ring is a common question. I say, look at the clock. Response, I can't read that. They can only read digital clocks. What? Why am I teaching phonics and sentence parts to 7th graders? I read to my 3-year-old every night since birth. I'm terrified of raising an illiterate child.
This is one of the most disturbing things I've read in a while. A post on r/teachers has gone viral titled, "It's going to get worse, isn't it?" This person has been teaching for 14 years and they teach grades 9 through 12 English Language Arts, or ELA. They start out by saying that all grades seem to have in common a one and done aesthetic, meaning all students get a chance to improve their grades with revisions, but fewer than 1/3 even try. And then the parents complain when the kid doesn't have an A, even though the kid refused to do revisions, didn't address the prompt, and had tons of spelling errors, even though it was a digital assignment. He says the parents just stare stone-faced and say, but you assigned a 1-page essay, and he turned in a 1-page essay. Almost every kid tells me they don't go to bed until 1 a.m., and more than half show up in their pajamas, wrapped in fleece blankets, clutching their Starbucks/Stanley, but leaving everything but their uncharged laptops at home. Is this going to be the new normal? The teacher said the one thing that all the kids have in common is that they don't care. If this is true, is this not the biggest problem we're facing as a culture? Our kids don't care about life? Should we not stop everything we're doing and figure out how to take better care of our kids? If this is really the new normal, we need to press pause right now and figure out what's going on, because this system is clearly not working.
Someone commented, one reason I think this problem is so huge is because they see that there's not really a point in good grades anymore, because if you go to college, your degree won't get you any good jobs anymore. That person brings up a really great point. So many people I know have degrees that they don't use, and a lot of student loans on top of that. So I just wonder what kind of messaging is being delivered to the students in schools now. Are they being told that college is the way to go? What are they being told by their parents, by the educators? I really am curious. So again, if you have a child that's of school age right now, I'm curious what you are telling them. Drop it in the comments down below. What are we giving kids to work towards? And I think there's still ways to emphasize the importance of school without necessarily telling your child that they have to go to college, because college isn't for everyone, right? But there are so many ways that school will help us in our real lives. For one, math is super important. You will need math to calculate your wage, or when you go to the grocery store to determine if you get 50% off an item or 25% off an item. You will need to know what that is. Same thing with English classes and writing essays. Learning to think critically is super important as well. So I think there's definitely an angle we can spin it to still encourage students to do well in school, because it will benefit them greatly for the rest of their lives.
Nation's report card shows America's high school seniors have the worst math and reading scores in more than 2 decades. And the first data since 2019 also shows 8th graders falling further behind in science.
The new test scores from the National Assessment of Educational Progress show only 35% of 12th graders are proficient in reading, the lowest in testing history dating back to 1992. Just 22% were proficient in math, and 31% of 8th graders meet the proficiency in science.
Our nation's report card is abysmal right now.
Jeannie Allen runs the Center for Education Reform.
States have to give power to parents and to local educators and to entrepreneurs who want to start the kinds of programs in schools that we see are working across the board. We do not change the landscape. We do not change the results.
Comp Sci High School in New York City is defying the nationwide downward trend in test scores. David Noah heads up the charter school.
How much do you think the use of cell phones, computers, has affected the reading scores in particular?
It's had a huge impact, but I think it's not irreversible. We have to adapt and adjust as schools, as parents, to make sure that we are still making the case for the value of reading in a world that is really different than it was 10 or 20 years ago.
4 days a week, students here spend 35 minutes reading outside of English class. That emphasis on literacy has helped raise students' test scores here, Noah says, not only in reading, but also in math and science.
So David Noah recommends parents ask teachers how much time is set aside just for reading during school, and how do teachers know that students aren't being distracted by a device? So at Comp Sci High School, cell phones have actually been banned since the school opened in 2018.
It's great that this charter school is implementing technology into the classroom in a way that benefits students and is also putting the emphasis back on reading and ensuring that students are reading 35 minutes a day. Someone commented, as an older Gen Z, I'm so glad I was in school before AI. No child left behind, no reading logs, no physical textbooks, just Chromebooks and vibes. If you're not familiar with No Child Left Behind, it was a policy that was enacted during the Bush administration that essentially said even if a child is not operating at the first grade level or second grade level, we will still be pushing them to the next grade. Hence, no child is being left behind. But the problem is, if a child is not ready and they're not reading at the level, they're not doing math at the level they're supposed to be doing, how are they supposed to learn the next grade level if they can't even master their current grade level? The irony is, No Child Left Behind is absolutely leaving children behind, and it's making the quality of education in this country go downhill. Someone else commented, have you seen how they're doing math now? And that brings me to my next clip. The way they are teaching these kids math makes absolutely zero sense, and if I was a parent, I would be so frustrated, just as this mom is here in this video.
I knew they changed math. I knew they changed math. 4 plus 4 is 8. 4 plus 5 is 9. All you have to do is 4 plus 5 is 9. You just have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's all you have to do. This is my son's new math. What they're doing 4 plus 4 equals 8 and 8 plus 1 equals 9. No! Just 4 plus 5 equals 9. I don't know how I'm supposed to help him. I'm bad at math, but I can do regular math. This is not regular math. Why are they adding extra steps in the math? This new math, I'm not a new math parent. I'm gonna homeschool. I'm gonna homeschool. What the f is this? What? Mommy's okay. Are you? You don't have to go to homeschool. Your new math is. I'm okay. Nothing. We're gonna get you a tutor. Am I alone? Somebody let me know. This new.
Someone commented, as an accountant, this new math makes me want to crash out because why are we doing all these steps? I helped my baby with math the standard way I learned, and the teacher marked them all wrong. Keep in mind, I am a teacher myself. When I was in school, I always tried to find ways to get rid of steps, not add them. So I completely understand now why some parents want to send their kids to charter schools or private schools or even homeschool kids, with the fact that the curriculum is changing so much and the education system is setting students up to fail. There's way too much technology in the classroom. AI is affecting things. Not only that, but in this country, we also have to worry about gun violence. And so that's another thing. If I ever have kids, I'm not sure if I would even want to send them to school because of the gun violence here. It is a very scary thought, and this video has really changed my perspective on our education system. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please like, subscribe, and comment down below a dog emoji so I know you watched the whole thing. And if you don't want to wait for my next upload, you can go ahead and check out this video right here on the screen. But thank you guys again, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!